So I've been talking a lot about minor pentatonic scales lately, how to play in minor keys, how to add notes to the minor pentatonic to get different flavors, how to play it all over the fretboard. So today I was thinking we should look at the major pentatonic scale. And we're also going to be adding a note to the major pentatonic scale to get a really nice soul, bluesy kind of sound like John Mayer, Mateus Asato, B.B. King, all those old school guys. Now the good news is, if you've been following along with my minor pentatonic scale content and following those fretboard maps, you'll already be able to play these major pentatonic scales. The shapes are exactly the same. We just actually change where we line them up with on the fretboard, or change where the root note is within those scale shapes. So don't worry, you don't have to learn a whole lot of new shapes. And the note we're going to be adding to our major pentatonic scales is a 4. So let me show you the difference between a normal major pentatonic scale, and then I'll add in the 4 and you can get some really cool sounds out of it. So I have a pre-recorded loop this time, so you don't have to watch me try loop something. So the normal major pentatonic. Now I'm going to add the 4 into it. Let's get into how you can do this too. So if we look at the first diagram, you might recognize this horizontal shape as being the one you used for the minor pentatonic scale if the root note was on the A string. However, in the case of a major pentatonic scale, the root note of this second, or this horizontal shape, is actually on the E string. So if we're in the key of F, I line up that green note with the R in the middle on the first fret of the E string. This will be my root note. Okay, then I play the 3rd fret, slide across, and then if I want to add this 4, I add that note there. Then the 3rd fret on the A, 5th fret on the A, then we hit another root note on the 3rd fret of the D, 5th fret of the D, slide across to the 7th fret, then we have another 4 there, then 5th fret on the G, 7th fret on the G, 6th fret on the B, which is a root note, and then we play the 8th fret on the B. Now here you have an option to play the pink note, which will take you to, like, this would be pattern 4 of the vertical pentatonic shapes, if you want to think of it like that. So we can play that pink note, and then we have a 4 here. Then we have the 8th fret of the E string there, which is another green note. Or if I go back down to that 8th fret on the B string, I can slide across following the green arrow to the 10th fret, play a 4 here, then I play the 8th fret on the high E, and then finish with the 10th fret. Okay, so if I go through that a bit faster from the beginning, so my root note is in the key of F, so I have my first finger on the 1st fret of the E, play through the 4, root note, slide across, 4, 4, that was just following the green notes. Or here I can add that pink note. Now just so you can hear this in context, I'm going to put the loop I had on again and play it without the 4 and with the 4. So without the 4. Right, that would be without the 4. Now if I add the 4. Right, so that kind of sound. And the 4, by the way, just in terms of the quality of the note, it tends to be an avoid note that you don't, or a tension note, or a question note, if you want to think of it like that. So we don't want to spend too much time just sitting on it. Like, listen to this. If I just... Right, it's quite a harsh sound, quite clashy, definitely unresolved. Right? Quite harsh, but if I just skip over it a bit, 4, skipped over it a bit, so you can see I'm just gliding over it. Right, so again, this is all subjective to a degree. So but use your own critical thinking skills and your ear to see where you think it fits in. But so that's the first shape. Now the next shape, where you might recognize as the first horizontal shape we use if our root note's on the E in the minor pentatonic, but in the case of a major pentatonic, we use this shape if our root note is on the A string. So an F note would be the 8th fret of the A string, so I line up that blue note with the R onto that fret. Okay, then I can play these 2 notes back here on the E string if I want, and then back to that 8th fret. So then I play the 10th, following the blue arrow slide. Then I have a 4 here if I want it. 10th fret of the D, 12th of the D, root note on the 10th of the G, 12th fret of the G. And now I have the option, I can play the pink note, and this will put me in the pattern 1 box of the vertical pentatonic scales. And then I have a 4 here if I want. Right, playing through those. Okay, there's a root note where my pinky is. I can go back down. Now when I'm on this 12th fret of the G, I can, if I want, slide across to the 14th fret, play a 4 here, then the 13th fret of the B, 15th fret of the B, 13th fret of the high E, which gives me another root note, 15th fret of the high E, then I can slide that up to the 17th, and then I have another 4 there if I want it. If I go backwards. Cool, so that would be the second position on the fretboard where we can play that major pentatonic scale with the 4 added in there. Now if I play that with the backing track, do some noodling. Right, on the root note, I can play some pentatonic stuff using the pink notes. Sliding up. Root note. Right, so that's what it sounds like in that register or that area of the fretboard. And just remember, with all these shapes, whatever key you're in, you just line up that root note with it, okay? So it's not like this is only going to work in the key of F. If I wanted to play that same position in the key of D major, I would line up that blue note with the R in it on the D note on the A string. Right, now I'm in the key of D. Cool, so just remember that. Now, this last diagram, just like always, is how you link both these shapes together on the fretboard, so you don't have to just jump from one to another, which can sound kind of clunky if you're just constantly doing that. So sticking to the key of F, if I go to this green root note on the low E string, on the 1st fret, and then I play across, playing the 4. Now, for now, I'm just going to ignore the pink lines, following the green notes, 3rd fret, 4th fret, root note, 5th fret, slide across, play a 4, following the green notes only, 7th fret, root note, following the green notes, slide across to the 10th fret of the B, then I can play a 4 there if I want, 10th fret of the high E, 8th fret of the high E, 10th fret of the high E. Now here, I can slide across with my 3rd finger to the 13th fret or the root note, which you'll see is that blue note, and now I'm in pattern 1 of the pentatonic scale. Okay, so I can follow those pink lines, add the 4 if I want, and now look, I'm in all the blue notes. So I linked those two shapes together. So I went up the green notes, then I slid across, following the pink lines. Now I'm in the blue notes. Now I can keep following the blue notes. Now I'm on that root note on the A string. Then if I want, I can go up these blue notes, add the 4 if I want. Now I'm at the top of the blue note, so I'm on the 17th fret of the high E, and now I can follow those pink lines, which is kind of pattern 3. And now I'm back to the green lines, the green notes, but up an octave, okay? Which is the same shape as the first one, up the octave. And then I can continue with that one if I want, adding the 4. until I run out of frets. So the thing to remember is the green notes are linked to the blue ones by playing position 1. We slide across at the top of the green notes to play pattern 1 following the pink lines, and the blue notes, or the second shape, is linked back to the first by pattern 3. And you'll notice I did that down in this register too. So if I follow the pink lines down here, that links me to the blue notes going backwards, or down here on the fretboard. Playing the blue notes now, the root note on the high E. So you can see how these kind of go back and forth. Okay, let's try this in one other key, just so you can see how it's applied there. So let's say we're in a key like C major. So if I wanted to start down on the fretboard here, I would use the blue shape because it has a root note on the A string, right? And there's a C note on the 3rd fret of the A string, because I might not want to start all the way up on the 8th fret. So I line up that note with the R with that C on the 3rd fret. I can play these notes back here, back to the R, slide across using the blue diagram, add the 4 here if I want. Root note, blue note, I can add some pattern 1 stuff here on the root note. Then I can slide across, play a 4, root note. Now that I'm at the top of the blue notes, I can go down pattern 3. Adding the 4 in. And now I'm in the first shape again, the one with the root note on the E string, which is now lined up with the C. And I can play through that. Right, now if I want, I can slide across to link the first shape to the second one, or the green to the blue notes, by sliding across 3 frets and playing pattern 1 of the vertical pentatonic shapes. And now I would be up the octave on the blue shape again. Right, then I could play through that if I wanted. So just remember to link the green notes to the blue notes, we play pattern 1, and to link the blue notes back to the green ones, we play pattern 3. And you'll probably need to rewatch this video a few times to get your head around that. Or if you want, you can book a lesson with me via Zoom. There's a link in the description to the booking calendar and my website where you can do all that. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.